Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another episode of Build-A-Figure. This is just a series where we check out custom head sculpts, outfit sets, we do kit bashes, you name it. But most importantly, we build figures. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a custom Batman Begins cowl by Jaxon Xu, as well as 4 custom capes, 2 Batman Begins and 2 Batman 89. I have popped the link to Jaxon Xu's Insta in the description, as well as a link to 1/6 kit where you can purchase both Jaxon's capes and this head sculpt. In case you'd forgotten, and if you had, I apologize for reminding you of it, but this is the current, most up-to-date Hot Toys Batman Begins cowl. This is supposedly the best that Hot Toys can do. It's awful. From every angle, it's just off. It's too skinny, it's too long, the cape clips aren't present, and don't even get me started on the mouth plates. I really like this little box the sculpt comes in, by the way. We've got the glossy W logo on the front for Wayne Enterprises, and it's made of this thick and sturdy cardboard. Jaxon Xu's sculpt is one of the more affordable options for replacing that terrible Hot Toys one. It comes with 2 mouth plates, as well as a neck connector that is specifically designed to go on the newer Hot Toys Batman Begins body. Although you probably could get away with using the Toy Fair exclusive body as well. I'm just going to stick with the more up-to-date release. I prefer the larger body and the proportions on that one. That's not to say that this won't look good on the very matte charcoal looking suit. If you want to do that, absolutely go for it. First in-hand impressions for Jaxon's cowl, though? Very impressive. This is a massive upgrade compared to what Hot Toys gave us. This was made by one dude, a customizer. This was made by a massive global company. Somehow, they looked at it on the production line and said, yeah, absolutely, that's perfect, ship that, people are gonna love it. Well, yeah, nah, I don't love it. So much so that I've now picked up multiple custom cowls. The one thing that stands out with this one over and above the others that I have is it's not 3D printed. This is not made of resin. It's made of a cast PVC material, so it's going to be more durable right off the bat. Yes, pun intended. This is the same stuff that Hot Toys makes their cowls out of, so it feels like a proper official thing, which is a massive tick for Jaxon Xu. The eyes look very realistic and quite serious because they're more squinted compared to the Hot Toys cowl. The skin texture is very well painted, nice and sharp, and the likeness to Christian Bale from literally every angle is coming through. I can see it. So I've just switched out the mouth plate for the less frowny one, and I reckon I prefer the one that it came wearing out of the box, with the more wrinkly chin and the corners of the mouth turned down. It's a subtle difference, but the other one is just there if you want it. This may look a little strange, but this is how you remove the mouth plates. There's no hole on the inside, and you don't grab it from the front, because the only thing you're going to do is damage the paint applications. Jaxon includes a little piece of white tack. You simply stick it onto the front of the mouth plate, then you can use it to grab onto it and remove it from the sculpt. Just one more comparison shot. We've got the cape clips on Jaxon's cowl. The neck is thicker and beefier. It also curves outwards versus inwards on Hot Toys. That's just completely wrong. And the skin tone is a lot lighter, which is accurate to Christian Bale. I don't think he was ever this tan. Why they went so dark with the mouth plates on the official head sculpt? I've got no idea. Righto, now to install the new head sculpt on the body, the first thing you're going to want to do is remove this internal neck connector piece. It's attached with a ball joint. There is a screw at the bottom. Don't touch that, leave it alone. Grab yourself some pliers, grab onto this piece, and then you'll be able to remove it. When you take it out, this is what you're going to be left with. After you've done that, plug it into the body. Then you can grab the rubbery neck connector piece, slide it over the top of the ball joint, instead of putting this into the cowl first and trying to pop that on the body. This first, then the cowl. The reason for that is because the cowl is hollow, and it's made that way so that you can adjust it up and down on the neck and get it to sit a little bit higher or lower, pose depending. So if you pop that piece inside the cowl first and then you try and connect it to the ball joint, it ain't gonna happen. The ball joint is just gonna push that all the way inside the cowl, and then you're gonna have a hell of a time trying to remove it. Dude, I know he's currently capeless, and he will look even better with the cape on. We'll get to the capes in just a second, but I mean, this looks freaking dope. It slides onto the neck connector nice and securely. This isn't going anywhere. It's properly snapped on there. And it still retains the stock range of motion because the bottom of the cowl is made of that softer PVC rubber material. So it flexes and bends as you compress it when you're moving the head sculpt either forward or backwards. The way it just smoothly contours over his shoulders, then avoids the back armor and ends in a point, while still allowing enough clearance for the cape to slot in underneath it. I love all of that. Truly, I'm enamored by this sculpt. The color match as well between the cowl and the bodysuit is spot on. They look like they're made of the same stuff. Cape time. Let's start with the wired cape. Best part about going wired for Batman Begins is that, let's be honest, he's pretty much a statue, right? I mean, you can pose him, but if you leave him in a dynamic pose, you're either going to stress out the suit and cause like white marks and damage and cracking eventually, or it's going to be fighting against the body underneath, and that pressure will loosen up the joints over time. So why not avoid all of that by letting the cape do all the heavy lifting in terms of making him look dynamic? The wires are very strong and you have multiple of them in these stitched in spines. But my favorite part about this cape is it's made in the exact same way as the real production capes that were used on the movie. It's got this velvet style flocked exterior, whereas the inside looks like a nylon or parachute material. For the movie, because they wanted the capes to be as lightweight as possible, they did exactly what Jaxon did. They left the inside this shiny stuff and they flocked the outside to give it that really deep, rich black look so that it would contrast against the more matte charcoal finish for the suit itself. But if that's not your cup of tea, you prefer a drape cape, and I don't blame you because I often go with drape capes, this one is a little bit thicker and it's a lot heavier. There's more material to work with. It isn't covered in that flocked stuff though, so it's not quite as dark as the wired cape. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go as of yet, so let's try them both on. Oh, Jaxon, you are spoiling us, my friend. This cowl combined with your wired cape that contrasts against the suit and has enough excess fabric to it that you can bring it around the front or have it over his shoulders. I mean, he now looks like $1,000,000. I'm always going to have him rocking this cape. It's not to say that the drape cape doesn't have its advantages, though. See what I mean? There is so much excess fabric with the drape cape that you can get it to come all the way around the front and you can entirely envelop him in it, which he did do pretty often in the movie whenever he was lurking in the shadows. And because it's made of this thin material, it doesn't look too bulky when you have it sitting over the top of his shoulders. I'm now not sure. I know I said I was going with the wired cape. But now that I'm seeing this, how it so effortlessly just hangs there, and it's still darker than the suit, so that contrast is present. While it's not made out of velvet, it's close enough for me. Yeah, I'm going to have to rely on y'all. Which way would you go? Please help me out down in the comments below. Cape time again. Let's kick things off with the drape cape this time. I have technically reviewed both of these from Jaxon previously on the channel, but they were the 1.0s. He told me that he has made some changes. I can already tell that that's true. The drape cape feels a little bit heavier. It still has that waxy bat skin texture on the surface, but it's not pleather. This is straight fabric with a surface coating, so it's not going to crack or peel over time. The spines look more prominent, but it still has that piece of elastic around the front so that you can stretch this over the neck connector as you slide this onto the body. You'll have to consult 1/6 Kit or Jaxon's socials to find out what the wired cape is made of because it's thicker, it definitely feels like pleather, but it smells like genuine leather, so I'm not entirely sure. On both capes do have these scallops down the bottom, which is accurate to Batman 89 and Batman Returns. All of the spines are wired, and the wires are very, very thick and sturdy, so this thing should be able to hold itself up no problem. I really like the shine on this wired cape. It has that almost bat skin quality about it, which is accurate to the movie. Do make sure you are lining up the wired spine sections with the spikes on the cowl, including around the back, which will require some futzing on your part, but it is quite straightforward to do. This one doesn't have any elastic around the front. You literally take off the cowl, put the cape on the body. It seems like it won't work, but it will, trust me. Then you pop the cowl back on, and because the tolerance between the cowl and the body is so tight, it sandwiches the cape in place, and this thing isn't going anywhere. Ah, yes, rubber suits. This guy is one of the worst offenders because instead of going movie accurate, where the smooth and wrinkled parts are supposed to be fabric, then the muscle suit was glued over the top, they went all rubber. So even under his armpits, there's this thick, sturdy rubber suit. It constantly pushes the arms out, and now they can no longer sit flush down by his sides. The benefit with going with the drape cape is you can bring it round the front just like the wired cape and hide the arms, or you can fold it over his shoulders, and this is something that he did in the movie. I'm partial to the half-half look, so I reckon I'm going to go this route in my collection. Wrapping up on another episode of Build-A-Figure. Let's just call it what it was. This was a Jaxon Xu special. 4 capes, 2 drape and 2 wired, one of each for Batman 89 and Batman Begins, plus the incredible Batman Begins cowled head sculpt. The stock one that Hot Toys gave us was nothing short of an unmitigated disaster. That sculpt is undisplayable. It ruins the entire figure. It's not accurate, and the likeness just isn't there. Plus, the detail is soft for a modern day Hot Toys release. Do yourself a favor, grab yourself the Jaxon Xu cowl because it does take this figure to the next level. I don't even think it's a nice to have. I reckon it's an essential upgrade. The capes, on the other hand, yes, they're brilliant, and I can't see myself ever displaying these figures with the stock ones back on them, but you could probably get away with it. They're not figure breaking, unlike that cowled head sculpt. For Batman 89, I like the drape more than the wired, whereas for Batman Begins, I know I flip-flopped a couple of times in this video, but I am now leaning towards wired again, just because it helps the figure look a little bit more dynamic. Whereas for Batman 89, he doesn't really need that because in the movie, the urethane bodysuit was very restrictive anyway, so having a drape cape on him, that just fits the overall vibe. At the end of this, love the capes, but the head sculpt is a must-have. Now, I got mine from Jaxon Xu Direct, and you can totally do that, but I've also popped a link to 1/6 Kit in the description below. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.